1,478 soldiers and citizens that died in this war, addition of 3 in the past week. If you remember, in this time last week, there was a terror attack in Israel, and I told you that we have a soldier that is badly wounded, and unfortunately, he died afterward from his wounds. He was stabbed, were able to kill the terrorist, and then he died at the hospital. And our last reservist that died only 3 days ago was Ivan. Ivan was 51 years old, fighting Shifa Hospital in Gaza. Just to understand, we talk about the IDF being the army of the people. This is the people. Ivan was a reservist, serving in Gaza for almost 6 months, and died 3 days ago. We can see that the numbers of casualties in the Israeli side is getting slower by the week. It's the second week that we have only, let's say, but 3. Let's hope it will continue that way and we'll have no more in the upcoming weeks. I just saw something I want to share with you just to understand how terrible this attack on October 7 was in this war. Out of those 1,400, almost 1,500 people that died in this war, we have citizens of more than 15 different nationalities, including UK, Sri Lanka, Thailand, United States, China. So they literally killed everyone in their way. 39 foreigners that came to work in Israel from Thailand that died this morning. Terrorists and wounded, the same as the previous weeks. We have almost 6,000 wounded soldiers. We know that the IDF killed more than 13,000 terrorists in Gaza. And this is the numbers for today. We're gonna go, just like every week, on the 3 main fronts, and we'll share some updates. So we'll start with Gaza. Still very active, as you can imagine. The biggest news is the last big operation that the IDF is conducting in the Shifa hospital that started 3 days ago. It shows basically our ability to operate everywhere in Gaza, which was the main goal of this operation, to show that the IDF can go anywhere. And the Shifa hospital, after the beginning of the war, turns out that Hamas and the Islamic Jihad thought that they can come back and rebuild the organization from there. And the IDF, in a very sophisticated attack, were able to surprise them and arrest more than 300 terrorists and kill more than 50 or 60 of them, and get a very important intelligence for the future to come. So this is happening as we speak, and again, very good operation in the Israeli side and very well executed. And we have, unfortunately, again, 2 soldiers that died during this operation. Last week, we talked about Marwan Issa, was estimated to be killed. I think now it's certain to say that he died in this attack. The United States says, so I think it will that we can rely on that. Marwan Issa was the head of the army of Hamas. He's a very important figure and a very important thing that Israel were able to do. There's 2 main things about Gaza that's still hanging on the air. The first is are we going to Rafah and when? Clearly, you can see the news all over the world. They're trying to prevent Israel from going to Rafah, and Israel, it seems like, understand that there is no other way. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. We thought it's going to be before Ramadan. For now, you can see that it's not happening, but it is on the progress and on the making, and the plans are being written in order to make it happen, because we know that Hamas is still there, because we know we have hostages, but it is going to be very complicated. There's conversation about a possible deal, hostages deal, in exchange of ceasefire and releasing prisoners. Blinken said it can be any day. I have no idea. I'm not so sure. If it'll be on the table, we'll talk about it some more. I think, but that it's guaranteed to say that the pressure that the Western world and United States and UK having on Israel, not going to Rafah and to go to a ceasefire, not helping to Israel's side on these negotiations. And Egypt, obviously, being afraid that Palestinians will flee to Egypt if Israel will go to Rafah, again, give Hamas in a way, the leading head in this negotiations. Let's hope it's not going to have a serious impact on the outcomes, but it for sure is not helping. The last thing about Gaza is the supply, like we're talking every week. In Israel, they just published today the numbers that the world's claiming that Israel intentionally starving the Gaza population. And I told you this in the previous meetings. It is not part of the Israeli strategy to starving the population. Turns out that Israel allowed more than 200,000 tons of supply to go inside Gaza through the sea, air, and through the land. So again, it's not part of the things that Israel is trying to do. It's something that just happened in war. This is Gaza. Going to the West Bank, Israel becoming more and more aggressive, showing the different cells of Islamic Jihad and Hamas that we're talking business, not like it was before October 7th. And every small or tiny provocation on their side will be reacted by a very big force in the Israeli side. Just in the last week, the IDF with the security forces were able to eliminate a threat, like a terror unit coming to make a terror attack in Israel and kill them on the spot. So this is what happened in the West Bank operation almost every night, 2 big ones in the past week. Again, to make sure that Israel and the IDF will be able to operate in anywhere on the West Bank and protect Israelis. And just a small example what we're dealing with. So the Islamic been published today that after the last operation, the Islamic Jihad decided to execute one of their own, claiming he worked with Israel, and then the one that killed him was his twin brother from the Islamic Jihad. So again, just to understand what are we talking about when we talk about the other side that's fighting us. A minute about the Ramadan that started a week ago, 10 days ago, relatively quiet. A lot of Israeli Arabs and some from the West Bank going to Temple Mountain to pray. Again, relatively quiet, and it's a very good news in Israeli side to maintain the peace and make sure the Ramadan will not become much more explosive as it could be. Going to the north, I'll be honest, I'm from the north, the feeling that it kind of stuck. Israel is working, the IDF is working, protecting the Israelis, but the reality is that there's a terror organization that is controlling a country. It's not controlling a strip like Gaza, and can shoot missiles on us in any time they choose, unless we will bring back the buffer zone or take over Lebanon, which is, it's not on the table. So the situation in the north, unlike the south, is that the people that have been displaced for the past 6 months are not really sure how this future will look like. And it's very hard to guarantee that the future will be brighter than it is now. My assumption is that once the war in Gaza will over, the situation in the north will be quiet as well. And I do think there is an opportunity in this situation, because there's no other way to get an agreement with Hezbollah and maybe have a long, I'll not say peace, but a long period of quiet again in the north. So this is, again, about Israel this week. And now I want to pass the torch to Itamar. Again, I'm very excited and very happy that you're here with us. Let's go ahead, Itamar. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me. So I'll start with a short intro. Nice to meet you all. I'm Itamar, live in Tel Aviv, married, 3 kids, working in my regular life in tech. And for the last almost 5 months, I was in the army from the 7th of October. I'll try to start and just describe a bit how war started for me and what we did. And then I think I have a couple of things that I want to talk with you about that I think that are important to emphasize from my perspective. So what started for me on the 7th of October, I was my mother was sick and cancer, so we treat her. and we did the routines between the family, and it was my turn in this Shabbat, and I woke up when my phone was starting to beep under alarms. We have some app. I don't know if you know about it, but we have an app that alarm you on the phone when you have missiles. And the zone we was in Jerusalem. My parents live in Jerusalem. My zone that I have in the app is Tel Aviv. So rocket started to fly into Tel Aviv, and I thought it's a mistake. I thought it's a problem in the app. And then things started to come to the news, and I saw a picture that I cannot forget is SUV full with terrorists inside of the city Sderot. And then I understood it's serious. And I told my parents, okay, war started. 1 hour later, we already was in a reserve call with all of the commanders under our unit. And then 4 hours after, I was already in the north. Our base is in the north. Eventually, was supposed to fight in the north, but things shifted because of the need in Gaza. And for that same day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we are already there. I think it was quite crazy situation, and starting the story like a lot of Israelis, and we, like hundreds of thousands of Israelis, have the same story, different starts, different that, but pretty much this how this story started for me. And from then we started, like one day after we invite everyone back from home to the army, and we started preparing the tanks, preparing to war. We understood it's something that will be long. We didn't know how much, but this is something that we really part of that, and we started a period of training and preparation for war, and just a week or a week and a half after we got the message that we need told us, guys, we need you in the Gaza, even though we are all our life in the reserve are dedicated to the north. And in one day we shifted. We took our tanks. I'm a company commander of an armored force, and we took our tanks and went down to Gaza. And we worked throughout the war with under the Tzanchanim, under the, I don't know, it's like our Navy, we can call it. And we started in north of with north of the city Gaza. And what we are trying to achieve, I think it's important. I don't know how, if in US it's clear the perspective, but what we are trying to achieve is we're trying to break Hamas military capabilities. And the Hamas is divided himself to companies and brigades and all of that, and they are just connected to a territory and splitted really by the territory they live in, and it's really clear like a small army. And what is Israel IDF trying to achieve is just to break them one by one. And we did it. We started in the Gaza city. We did 1.5 months on Gaza, or the surroundings of the Gaza city. We started by the sea in the north. My company, we called Rimal, and then we got into Zaytun Sajaya after. Another two big Hamas organizations. We actually took their land, their ecosystem, and just broke the military activity within it. I think one of the changes in mind that I had throughout the early days of the war, part of the conception that we had in Israel is a separation between Hamas and the people. And I think one of the big things that we now more and more people understand in Israel, that unfortunately, and really unfortunately, it's a sad thing to say, is there isn't a separation between them. You can see the movies, the videos from people celebrating our people coming, getting into Gaza. And for us, women are raped, kids are killed, and they are celebrating. We are not celebrating getting out of war. I'm not celebrating going, and unfortunately need to get into Gaza and fight for that. We do it because we have to, and I think it's a fundamental difference between the way we think. And the second thing that was really, I don't know, was a big thing for me, especially, we got inside their houses and things, and every second house is a Hamas terror house. Every second house you see guns, RPGs, rockets, grenades in scale, not one or two. Sometimes it's not one apartment within this, that it's like every second house there is tons of things that you see there that are ready for them. And it's another thing that we saw, that they are walking in the street like a regular people, without guns, they prepared everything already in their houses. Everything is prepared for them, so they can move between places, and they look like a regular citizen. So now we are Israeli, the bad guys are shooting at them because they are the terrorists. But when you look at it in movies, you say, it's a tank killing a citizen. But no, everyone in the war zone between the right ages, from 18 to 50, was a Hamas people, just moving between apartments and between tunnels, trying to hit us and find us in places that and use our morals and our things, the way we fight, and our strength, I think, I have to say, even though it's hard, against us. And something that is really important to understand, that it's maybe look like that, but the actual, it's really different. And we saw crazy, crazy tunnels. We got to a place, a tunnel 80 meters deep, going through from Gaza until Khan Yunis. It's like crazy operation to build it, like crazy amount of money. The amount of things that are invested in preparing to this day, I think it's something that it's really hard to grasp. And I think it's our job, and this is why I'm here, just to tell it to the world and say, hey guys, it's not like a small thing. It's not some terrorist talking to their freedom or fighting for their freedom. No, they are trying in very evil and vicious way to fight us, and we need to tell the story. And I think this is something that was really like a big thing that I understood in the first phase of fighting is we are fighting a nation here that is supporting this. They are part of this. They are taking. It doesn't mean that we need to kill everyone, and we are not starving them. But it's a nation that's taking it, and we need to understand it. And as fast that we understand it better, I think we can develop over time the way to actually manage it and to fight with it. And I have to say one thing about our morals. Like, I was 90 days in Gaza, and Gaza and Khan Yunis, sleeping in my tank, working, like fighting with my company. And I have to say something about morals. I think there is a lot of speaking in the world about trying to say that we are fighting in a non-moral way, and we overkill citizens, we pushing them to starve and all of that. I have to say that I personally have more than 3-4 times that I saw under from our tank civilians try to get away, and we help them get away. And it sounds like makes sense, but it's very, very unusual in war zones that we did an effort as an army to actually enable the people to be safe, like a family and kids. Just we took them already within the zones that we been there and capturing, and already very strong in these areas on that. actually, you find people in apartments. You open an apartment, when you find a family, they say, "You crazy guys, what you are doing here?" Like, and actually, we don't care why they're here, but we help them. And through all the fighting, we always have a way for them to get to the south. Ask yourself how 2 million people got to the south. Like only half of them got to Rafiah before we started. Half of them was with the help of IDF got to them alive, with their families, with their everything. And it's something that we invest a lot of effort in it. And then damaged our ability to fight in some cases, and did different things in the way we fight, because we are trying to be as much as with the best moral, and actually for us, not only for them, as Jews, as Israelis, it's for us and for me to come back home to my family and feel that I fight it in the most moral and right way. And really, we did it for us and for our families. And yes, it's on us as a fighters to save these people. This is how Jews and Israeli fights. And I think it's really important for me to emphasize it for you from first battle, like as a person who actually did it, for you to be confident about and know that this is how we do it, even if in the news it looks differently, even if there is people that trying to say differently. I have to say, from my perspective, this is something that's really important for me to emphasize. And one last thing for me, and then Dagan want to ask some one or two questions. Is I have to say that I think, I don't know how you feel about it in US, but I have to say that your support is really, really, really make us stronger. Really. And it doesn't matter how and how you do it. And for me to see like parades in New York, it's something that make me as a fighter stronger in the feeling, in my ability to feel that we are doing something right. And when I don't know, people send us some I don't know, even kids drawing around it. It doesn't matter if it's Israel from US. It's something that make you as a soldier stronger, and you understand, and it make much more clear to you why you're fighting, why you're doing this very hard thing of turning yourself out of your family, put yourself in danger, and as much as we'll be united, and as much as we'll talk in the same voice, I think our strength will be much, much, much stronger. And thank you for all the things that you are doing for us in US. I think there is a real meaning for that, and keep doing it. I think it's amazing. So that's it for me. Dagan, feel free.
Wow. Itamar, first of all, thank you. And all of you that are here now with us and will see it afterwards, please share this video. Again, very few Americans get a privilege to listen to someone that is not 18, is a father of children, has a family, and left everything, went to war, and can give us the real perspective of exactly what's happening in Gaza and how the IDF operates. So Itamar, thank you. And you didn't even mention about your personal life and all the challenges you went through and the responsibility for your soldiers and the things you gave up on with your mother and your wife and everything, only, again, to be with your soldiers, to make sure everybody are coming home safe. Actually, one of Itamar's soldiers is the one that stopped the terror attack in Jerusalem 2 weeks ago. He survived Gaza for 4 months and got injured in a terror attack in Jerusalem. But again, just to understand what a reservist or Israel is all about. So thank you. If you can share in a moment about the spirit of the soldiers. Again, leaving home, being in Gaza for 4 months, and I can assume that it's scary, but what is the spirit of the IDF now?
I have to say, it sounds crazy, but it's not scary. Like when you're very, very focused on what you're trying to achieve, and you're about your mission and about your responsibility. And I think we share it across the board with all the people on the reserve. and there isn't almost fear moments. And it's not bravery, it's just ability of understanding that you are part of something very, very much bigger than you, and you have a role in that, and you have a real ownership and responsibility for that. So everything will come in proportion to that. And it's important to say, and we don't take ourselves as brave or something. We just do what we have to do, and it's simple as that. And I have to say the spirit is crazy. Like it's something we cannot explain. It's most of my people keep we invited people and more people than we invited king. I think we are the only Armenian in the world that's happening. Like it's crazy. We invited 70 people. Actually, I have today in my company 93 because people just bang on our door. I want to come. I don't have a place to fight. I tell them, you crazy is what? Like we need people, but why? Like and I think this is the spirit in a nutshell. Like this is the spirit of understanding. I have to say that a long war is a challenge, especially for the commanders to maintain this spirit. And after you are a very long time and you miss home, I think it's a challenge. I have to say that we call it in Hebrew the oref, but the families, the people that behind us, and their strength is a key part of fighting. And we just brought them together. And my company today is like a small family, and the families are joined in a WhatsApp group and got updates and help each other. And it's part of it. We are trying to build resilience, and we need to be as resilient as we can. So we'll get through the challenges that we have, and we still have a lot of challenges. It's not it's maybe we'll end in Gaza, but maybe we'll start in the north, and we don't know, and we need to be prepared for that. And prepared, ready to actually change the reality here in Israel. So it will be a great place to live in for the decades in the future, and this is what we are trying to achieve.
Amazing. And again, it can give you a glimpse about the Israeli DNA. The fact that more people are coming than the one that's been called, and the fact that the rear and the back has been recruited to this war, just like the people on front. Like this war, all of Israel is involved, all of the sectors in Israel are involved. And I know that we can speak with Itamar for hours more and more about how many people did he have, where did they came from in Israel, and about what exactly happened. But again, this is a glimpse to the Israeli DNA, and Itamar can be, your kids or your friends or your brothers, like just a normal Israeli who decided to leave everything and went to protect his home because this is his duty as an Israeli, and this is our country to protect. So Itamar, thank you very much for your time. Again, I know it's the middle of work day. And again, Itamar is Amit, brother-in-law, so he's available if you want to speak with him again.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be joined by Liat Cohen Raviv. Liat live in the north, in Metula. She's been displayed for the past 6 months and doing a lot of things for the Israeli people. And we hardly talked about the north. So next week, we're going to talk about the north and the impacts of this war on this region, my home, and my family as well. So Itamar, thank you, and I see all of you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.